So this is one of the other projects that we have been developing. This student, Vasco, used as a material the waste of the coffee powder. We are in Portugal, and I think here also, good consumers of coffee. We need it to survive. So we make a lot of waste out of coffee. Usually the waste or it goes to garbage or goes to some in a real small percentage to agriculture to put in our plants. It's really good to give them strength like the coffee does to us. So this project was again an idea of giving up an opportunity to able people, not disabled, able people to work, but that are in an employment situation. So we worked with this city council. They had that, because I think in the other presentation there was a doubt on it. We had different target groups. In the other was Vida como Arte. And then the idea is that social assistants in the city council identify different groups that could be could use this idea to make profit out of it. So some statistic data about coffee to see how much material that we have, the richness of the coffee does for us. In Portugal, for instance, each person consumes per year 4.7 kilos per year. That's enormous. So we have a lot of big opportunity to have here a product. In Germany, there's an example of using the coffee make with as a raw material to design to making new products. They use it also, as I said, for example, in architecture. They use it as a component to make bricks or even in fuel in some cases. There's another really nice example of an Italian student, Mariana Cecciolini, Agridust, that she mixes coffee waste with potato starch, and she extrudes it in a syringe, so she can make those kind. Where's the pointer? She can make this kind of material, and then compose different products with this soft material. This is an example of the coffee used in architecture, for example, in put in with these small bricks. And there's a group. It started as work in a mechanical engineering course of some students in the United States, and they created a filament to be used in a 3D printer. We are also making a research in other student that is working in this project of the waste. He's using the skin of peanuts to make a filament. We bought this filament to see how it was made, but unfortunately we realized that the coffee was just 5% of the constitution of the filament. It smells like coffee, but it wasn't much coffee. Well, but it works. We made this octopus, but we didn't want to make. We wanted to make really out of coffee. In the first year, I think where Jan, because he's our first fan for this project. In the first year, when we started the project, the students experimented with epoxy, just to see if it would be a feasible thing. It was, but we don't recommend it because epoxy is not a very sustainable component. So in this year thesis, we tried to search with other components that could agglomerate the material. We tried with the starch, like the Italian girl, but we didn't have really good results. After a month, at the beginning it was quite nice, the color was quite nice and the texture, but after a month it has a lot of mold and it would break easily. We also tried with pine resin because we have a lot of pines and we are trying to use the pine resin to something. We had another research going on with it. We tried, but we found out it was very fragile and brittle. So it wasn't very homogeneous mixture. So it didn't work also. We also tried with wax and pine resin to see what is going. The funniest thing in these projects is there are 9 of the students. There are 9 working with the waste. So they are exchanging experiences and they are all making these mixtures like in a cooking laboratory. So they are always trying with different things and they change the experience from one to another. And then finally, we found, I think, the solution. We tried to make it with a PLA. PLA is bioplastic made out of seeds, so it's good for the food. So it's biodegradable. So it could be used easily to mix with the coffee. It really works. We made the first experiments just to see how it was. Is it consistent? So we could go further in our experiment. We made a small mold of a coffee cup to give to Jan. We made it in a 3D printer, a normal one. We made a silicone mold to make possible to make the coffee cup in the end. The idea is to give to this group of able people, unemployed able people, this mold, so they can make the mixture and then make the coffee cups easily. We tried with different ratios to see how it was. How did it go? And then we finally went to the machine and had our coffee with it. It didn't burn, it didn't melt, so it seems it's working. But of course we have much room for improvement. Now we want to test it properly, just not with the coffee. We want to make those tests, but they have to give the thesis, so they had to stop somewhere. And we have, he's making some design proposals after he discovered it work. He's making some design proposals of this new raw material that we have found. This is a tray where you can put your coffee cups with your coffee. It would be made of wood, and these pieces would be made out of coffee also, so everything would smell like coffee. It's another image for dessert. So next Congress, we should have our aperitifs like we had yesterday in these cups. I suggest to Jan and Inge. And these are some other design possibilities that were studied. One other thing that we discovered we found out that the coffee is very good to put small plants like basilico and that stuff. So if you grow them in the kitchen with the coffee dust, they will grow faster. So he developed the same cups to put the coffee powder that you can collect after you make your coffees, and then you put your herbs in the kitchen. Well, conclusions, the same as the others. The waste is increasing without reducing production. So I think designers and engineers, they have the obligation to think about it and the obligation to find solutions to think about it, because we are designers and engineers, so we want to design and make products because we have to pay our bills in the end of the month. So we want to design and make things, and we want that industry works. We don't want them to stop. So we always make some pollution. But if we make some pollution, we have, we say in Portuguese, if you take with one hand, you have to give with the other. So if we are making a damage, we have to find a solution to that damage that you are contributing. And we found out in this project also that PLA might be the ideal binder for this possibility, and we want to continue it with to find it the resistance of the products that we are making. We made these projects, all of these projects, with the support of the Community Service Engineering in our school and Faculty of Engineering. And we, as others, thank to the project the opportunity to make these waste experiments. Thank you.